Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in for my first interview on Moments of Truth. My name is Kristen, and I'm here today with Cori Ellingson, who is joining us from Vancouver Island. And I'm really excited that Cori's my first guest because I've known Cori for quite a while now, and she's been a foundational person in my life to encourage and support me through some huge changes that I've made. And I like to think we've been there for each other a lot over the last 7 years probably. And she's been a great friend and a great supporter. And I've watched her make some amazing changes in her life over the last 7 years. And she also happens to be my mother-in-law now, which isn't how we started out 7 years ago, but it's pretty cool to have her as a good friend and as a part of my family. And so I will let her share a little bit about her life with you now. Hi, Cori.
Hi, Kristen. Really great to be here with you. And thank you for that introduction. It was a wonderful meeting when we first got to know each other, and I worked for you in your store, and years later then you got together with my youngest son, and it's just been an amazing journey. And for me, my whole life has been an amazing journey, not because it's been all just roses and sunshine, but because it's been such an interesting, I really feel like my soul this time chose to come for so many varied experiences. And it's been such an interesting life.
Awesome.
My favorite thing right now is really inspiring people to know that we are creating a brand new world right now. We can't see it, so it's very difficult to describe because we're creating it as we speak. And so it takes a lot of trust, and it takes courage to trust our vision, that knowing that as we focus on coming together and supporting each other and reaching for our highest potential and encouraging other people to do that too, that we're actually creating a brand new world that we're living into.
I love that. And I agree with you. And I think for a lot of people hearing that, if that's, I guess a lot of people don't necessarily have a high level of optimism that's happening right now. And so I think on behalf of people watching, I think I can say, ask the question, what shows you that every day? Or what in your world has led you to have that belief, or to know that deep inside yourself that we're creating a new world and that things are getting better? Because I think to a lot of people right now, things look really messy, and I think a lot of people are pretty skeptical. So I'm just wondering if you can share a few things with everyone that's listening about, kind of like build us a little bit of a picture here and a foundation of what you're saying, if you would. Not
Yes,
too tall of an order.
Yes, I'd be happy to.
Great.
Because it is my truth, and it is something that I wouldn't have had the courage to say even a year ago publicly like this. And every day I'm shown that it is the truth. And the way that I'm shown that started about 25 years ago when I stopped watching TV. I got rid of it. I got rid of the things in my life that were taking me down a path, showing me only traumatic or horrible things that were happening in the world. So if a person is inundated with that, and that's all that they're watching, that's all that they're reading, that's all that they're believing is the truth, then yes, it's a pretty scary place. But if you don't go that route and instead look at inspiring things, like one of the people, or actually a few people that have inspired me, one is Dr. Bruce Lipton, another one is Greg Braden. There have been so many people that have inspired me to know that there is a wonderful world that we're creating, and they are scientists and people that look more deeply into, is this really true? And so just being supported by them, to know that just because you read it in a newspaper or you see it on a scientific journal that comes out, it's really important to look deeper and check it out. The other thing that's helped me so much to know that under the surface of what we see in the world, my travels over the last 4 years, since I started doing workaway and woofing projects around the world, I have met people from all over the world who, thanks to social media, we still have a connection through Facebook or Instagram or whatever, email or telephone or whatever possibility we have to stay connected and see what we're creating. That's been the way that I know the world is changing, because I've met wonderful people who think like me from all over the world, and they're doing their part in their big or their small way, and it's all important. But each person that I've met in my travels, when we've worked together on different projects, they get it and they know that that's what's happening.
And I totally agree with you. And I've had a similar experience. And it's really why I wanted to start this series of interviews, because Tanner and I have met so many amazing people doing wonderful things. And that's what we want to choose to focus on, is people that are trying, despite the odds or what the rest of the world's reality is. People that are waking up each day and choosing to do things that are positive, even if it's in their own tiny little community somewhere on this planet. You know, every person that chooses to make a positive change each day, it really adds up, and it's big. And I've been looking for a way to share and promote what good things people are doing. And so that's partly what I'm hoping to do through this. So thank you for that. And I heard you talking about kind of following your truth and recognizing what your own personal truth is. And I'm wondering if you'd be willing to share a short story about a time in your life. It could have been recently, or it could have been decades ago, whatever you choose that comes up for you. And just describe a moment of truth in your life where you kind of came to a crossroads, and your truth was calling to you, and it required you to make some pretty huge changes in your life. I'm wondering if you could share something with us.
Well, yes, I can. There have been quite a few major changes in my life, major turning points, and I guess the several come to mind. And one that really calls out is when I was around 40 years old, and I had a moment where I totally lost it, and went into a huge rage and realized that my emotions had, I saw them so clearly, that my emotions had gotten the better of me. And I decided I was going to make a change. I decided whatever I had to do, I was going to do it to get my anger and rage under control, because I saw it in my family, especially with my father, that he was a wonderful man, except when he flipped out. And then it was like, oh boy, like where can I run and hide? Because he didn't have the capacity to deal with those huge emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So that started me on my path, and I was afraid to even deal with it because they were so huge. It felt like going there was going to blow up a whole town. They felt so huge, and I thought, oh my gosh, how can I even deal with this?
Mm.
And just in making the choice that I was going to, making that decision, then a path opened up and several different avenues started to come. I started to join some groups to start understanding family patterns, and I started to join groups to understand how to speak more effectively, and then other groups that started to help me learn how to work with the anger and how to change it into something different. So I didn't have to be afraid of it anymore. There was a way through it. It wasn't about suppressing it, but there was a way through it that would actually make me a healthier, more effective person. So.
Wow, that sounds amazing. It sounds extremely transformative. Awesome. Good. Did you want to share any other ones, or do you just want to stay with that one?
Well, the other one that comes to mind was being in a relationship of 11 years and really knowing that it hadn't been working for quite a while, and just not knowing what to do, being afraid of going off on my own, and knowing that I didn't have much financial backing to do that, and how would I actually, pay my bills and go forward on my own, because it's hard to split a car in half.
Yeah.
It's
and
hard
still have it functioning.
Yeah, like half a car rolling down the road. It's hard to go forward without really it being a detriment to both people. It's a very difficult decision. And yet there comes a point, and you actually were instrumental in helping me define the moment when I do believe that the universe is always giving us messages. Little messages keep coming, and if we refuse to see them, they come all around us. They come in books that fall on our heads, and cars that go past with license plates that say things to us. We pull cards and we do different things to get these messages. And so these messages, we called them little breadcrumbs, and they were coming. They were coming all the time, and I just was afraid to see them. And so the one of the messages was, we had just moved into a really lovely apartment in a wonderful area around a green space with cycling and walking paths, and it was such a nice place. And the keys would not stay on my keychain. Every time I pulled my keychain out of my purse, the keys would be in the bottom of the purse. And then my partner at the time decided that he wanted to, he was going on a different path, and it became very obvious when he wanted to eat a different way. And he wanted to buy a great big TV and hook back up to cable. And there were just all these signs saying, hello, is anybody listening? This isn't working. Do you get it yet? So when I finally got my courage and decided I had to do this, it actually was hilarious. because I walked into the apartment thinking I must tell him that I have to leave. And at that moment, he was playing around with the computer, and this song came blasting out. Well, since my baby left me, I found a new place to dwell. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm being supported in doing this. And I thought, oh, but what do I say? And then all of a sudden the song came blasting out again. And I thought, all right, I just have to say it. I am leaving. So once I made the decision, then everything started to fall into place. A friend offered me a place to come and stay out on the island, and which I hadn't even dreamt of. It wasn't even in the realm of possibility, and that opened up. So doors just opened up. Doors opened up to work away. I moved to Mexico. I did things I dreamt about doing for so long, and it just wasn't happening in a relationship that wasn't working. I was just existing, but I wasn't allowing who I am to have an outlet to be expressed.
Awesome. Yeah, and you know, I honor a lot of the decisions that you've made and that so many people have made to kind of move beyond, step beyond their current realities. When, you know, as a friend or family member, I've witnessed a lot of people struggling, because we all have those times in our lives, and there come these moments of truth where you can face it and go, oh my gosh, I have to do something differently. And it can be terrifying. And everyone gets these opportunities to own that moment of truth. And, you know, a lot of people choose to not make the change and keep slogging through the difficulties that are being presented. And as you said, they kind of keep coming stronger if they keep getting ignored. And so to have witnessed that, that kind of leap of faith that you made was really cool. And I'm glad that you just shared that, because it was honestly, from my perspective, that leap of faith for you, that moment of truth and honoring what was true for you, has sent you off on a really incredible path. And I knew it was a long time coming for you, because you had shared that with me. So I'll just ask you to share, and time just flies when we're chatting about these things. So I just want to ask you to share with everyone, you know, all the things that you've experienced in your life, and how you've put that all together in this current project that you're just launching right now.
Well, yes, I'm really excited, because I've been called to write for many years, and I know now why I was scared to actually sit down and do it. Because my inner guidance wanted me to share way deeper than I ever thought I would ever put onto paper. And so that's what happened for me. I hired someone to mentor me, just to help me stay on track. And I believed an interview that I saw with a man named Tom Evans, who said, you can write a book in a short time, just choose that it can be easy. And I thought, okay, I'm going to choose that. I want this done in 2 or 3 months. And so I said to the lady I hired, yep, I'm hiring you for 4 months, and I want it done by then. And that's my intention. So this is my brand new book. It's called Choosing a Vibrant Life. And when I first started writing it, there was a chapter called Choice. It was a chapter because I know how important it is to make that choice, to choose. When we make a decision, it's an incredibly powerful time. And as I was sitting contemplating the topics that I wanted to put in this book, I realized that every single chapter is about choosing. And so that got to be the whole theme of the book, is about reclaiming our power of choice. We have let go of that power, thinking that the experts know better, that we have to ask somebody because we don't know, and trusting that other people know better. Oh, I have to go get a reading. Somebody knows better than me. I have to go see my doctor. They know better than me. No, it's time for us to choose for ourselves and trust. So this book is about choosing in all of the ways that have been the most impactful and have shaped my life. So all the chapters go from choosing our beliefs, choosing how we age, choosing how we die, choosing our fuel. How do we fuel our bodies? How can we make our lives sacred? So in this book, I feel like I'm really standing naked. I've really shared. I've shared. It's been more than a moment of truth. I've really shared the truth. And now that I have, I'm so happy that I had the courage to do that, because now I feel a strength to be able to stand behind that and put forth this book that I feel really proud of, and I'm really happy for the way that it's come together.
Awesome. Thank you. And I can just say that I read the book and it was amazing. And I feel really proud of you for finishing it, because I know how long you've been feeling all of this kind of brewing in you, and just really feeling called to share it. And now that you've done it, it's quite amazing, really. And the book turned out beautifully. And yes, choosing is so powerful. And I know myself that I've made some really difficult choices, but they've led me to where I am right now. And remembering that we all have choices every moment of every day. And it's amazing how many people will deny that when you say it to them. Well, you have a choice. Oh, no, I don't. I don't have a choice. No, actually you do. Well, no, I don't, because blah, blah, blah. Well, actually you do. So I recommend contacting Cori. She'll be sharing this interview on her Facebook page. She's got a page for her book, Choosing a Vibrant Life, and we'll include some links below this video to get you connected with her. She'll be doing her book launch later this week, right, Cori?
My book launch is in Victoria, BC. It's at a place called Imagine Studio Cafe on Erie Street, right in the Fisherman's Wharf area. And it's on October 26th. So my book is just in the midst of being printed. This is my only copy here, my proof. So it's just in the midst of being printed at a local printer in Victoria. And then I have book signings set up so far in Duncan, and then I'll have that up on my Facebook page as I get the dates actually secured for the times and the places where that's going to happen. And I decided to just focus through November on the island and the Gulf Islands and Vancouver to do some book signings and little talks and some drumming, chanting circles and such. So that's my intention. And then I will be offering a retreat, at least one retreat in Mexico as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, this winter.
Great. So I highly recommend getting in touch with Cori, especially if you're on the west coast of British Columbia, because you'll probably get to meet her in person and get a copy of her book. And your book will also be available in the audio version and an ebook version, correct?
Yes, I'm just getting prepared to get that launched up as an ebook, as a print book, and as an audio book. So they'll be available on Amazon.
Wow, that's huge. Well, thank you for joining me. This was great, and it was really fun to have you as my first guest. And yeah, I just really appreciate you sharing those moments of truth and an entire book full of truth. That's huge. I feel like you took the cake right away on the first interview with that. So thank you, and good luck on all of that. And I look forward to our time together this winter.
Thanks, Kristen. It's been my pleasure to share with you.
Thanks, Cori.